Hello everybody, today a look at the Böker Eurofighter, the first model actually, not the second Eurofighter 2 model, which looks quite different. You see, it's a very high-tech, modern looking tactical folder. I think you agree on that. And while it is modern and tactical, I don't think it looks overly aggressive. Well, it definitely looks special and dynamic, that's for sure. It is designed by Mr. Dietmar Pohl, who is one of the most famous European knife designers, and I discussed already a few of his knives before, like the small turbine, or in fact my most beastly knife is in the old videos is the Pohl Force Alpha 1, because these days he has his own company. But here, why do I take this beast? Well, to show, well, there is a kind of a look that he brings to his blade that is actually is a kind of a family trait of several of his designs. So that's why I show it briefly. So while it looks extremely modern, extremely tactical, it is already out of production. So you can still buy the limited edition version with a Damascus blade. Amusingly, so this model is called Eurofighter, and the Damascus one, actually the steel in the blade is from a cannon of the Eurofighter plane. But so indeed, well, that's part of the evolution actually at Böker. This one you can still find as a end of life, you could say, promotion model. Notice that the handle has a very nice 3D CNC work to it, so several layers actually, which makes it I think a very nice design, a really modern, nice design. It comes actually with this sheet, well, no, a pouch actually, with here some Velcro and a Eurofighter patch that you can add somewhere, but I think I would never do that. But this is nice actually to store the knife away. So a few data about this knife. The blade is 10 centimeter, so it's around 4 inches. The knife itself weighs around 158 grams. This is not titanium. This is actually an aluminium. The handle, which is grey hard coated. Now, probably if you use it long and you carry it a long time in your pocket with keys and so on, you will get small scratches. That's the way it is. Imagine how luxurious this knife would have been if that were pure titanium. That would have been, and then it would also be quite a bit lighter as well. But still, it is very good in the hand, as you can see, with a kind of a finger hold and jimping, which as a real modern tactical knife befits, you could say, but not on the blade. The blade stops already here, but on the handle here at the top, and here a bit at the lock as well. Blade is 4 mm thickest, so it's quite thick, but with its geometry it still cuts pretty well actually. So it actually from here onwards it is hollow from roughly here, and the steel is 154 cm. These days it's not a high-end steel anymore, but it's still a really good steel. That's a bit better than the classic 440C. You could say it's a bit below VG10 and so on, but really quite okay. It doesn't have here a stop pin, rather actually it stops, well, of course there is the lock, and here the thumb studs. Maybe there is also that inside in the pivot that it stops there as well. I don't know if there is another stop there. The liner itself, the lock is 1.5 mm, and it's, as I can assure you, it's very sturdily locking, nicely aligned to the left. So I mean there is really quite some life in this. So really the high-tech models by Böker, these are really seriously nice knives. I believe for American customers relatively expensive because of the exchange rate compared to the euro. Now in Europe they're also pretty expensive. I mean European labor, you could say, made in Europe is typically not cheap, but actually I bought this one at an enormous discount. It was one of the promotions of the day in the Böker store itself, plus the fact that it was already in promotion, being an end-of-line product. Here the nice inlays, and it's inlays, it's not screwed on. You can see really that the handle is also milled out a bit. I'm not 100% certain. I read on the Böker site that this is bone actually, but I read elsewhere, and I believe also linked to Böker, that this is actually a micarta. I'm not 100% certain. It could be micarta that is jigged like bone. I'm not certain. Notice also that the design is really quite remarkable here. The clip, you cannot see where there are no screws visible. How the clip was attached to the handle is actually here inside. You really have to screw it open to be able to, let's say, do something with the clip. But you cannot. What you have then with this, it's a nice design, but you cannot put the clip elsewhere. C'est la vie, huh? But so it's really. I think it's a really chic. A bit of a recurve, not too much. Good that it's not more than that, because then it becomes tough to sharpen with the sharp maker. You know, the white parts of the sharp maker, when you have a big recurve, it's a bit a pain to use. Really a full size folder, not always practical to carry because it's so big, but for on holiday, why not? Now let's see a bit what is competition here, if you're in the market for this one. Well, I must say, so I'm looking at two high quality tactical modern liner lock folders. I think the standard to beat is the Spyderco Military, which is quite a bit lighter, 128 grams, it's 30 grams less, so it's quite a bit lighter. With the super high performance steel S30V. This one is these days a bit mid-range, and also very good ergonomics. This is the standard actually to beat. Now it can be that you don't like the look of the Spyderco, as some people do, or that you already have a Mili, you want something else. The lock seems, by the way, thinner here on the Military, but in practice it will be just as reliable. The Military's liner lock is totally indestructible. The thickness of the blade is similar actually of the two, and the length of the blades are in essence also the same. And the handle is there a bit shorter, and thanks to all the G10 this is indeed perceptibly lighter. Still, I think, I must say, when it comes to looks, I always thought that the Mili looks good, but this one looks, well, I think this looks very, very, very nice. Now there is another alternative which will normally cost less. That is the ZT200. I think it's an interesting alternative. The ZT is very heavy, eh? It's around 225 grams, that's really heavy. It feels totally sturdy, nuclear war proof. The blade is a tiny bit shorter, but cannot be much. It also has a recurve. The blade is wider than here. It is matte black, if you care about that. Well, I'm not into tactical usage, so I actually prefer it to be white, because I think a black blade with scratches, that looks horrid. The liner lock is also, it's very sturdy, eh? The liner lock is 2 mm thick compared to 1.5 mm. So in theory that's a bit better. Interestingly also is that the steel of the ZT200 is the same 154 cm as on the Böker. So I would say between the two it's a matter of taste. Well, I really prefer the look of the Böker. When it comes to performance, I expect them both to be roughly the same actually. Same kind of blades, slight recurve. Well, the ZT has a bit more recurve. The handle here of the G10, well, it's quite a bit thicker as well. Let's see how thick it is. At its thickest, it's around 2 cm. And here, this one, at its thickest, it's, well, just a bit less actually. Strangely enough, this one feels a lot thicker because of all the G10 everywhere. I think ZT is even a bit sturdier because of the very thick liners. Now here the handle is all aluminium, which is of course also sturdy. So in practice it won't make such a difference in sturdiness, but the ZT is cheaper, but in my opinion looks far more utilitarian than the Böker. So I would say if you don't have yet or have not yet tried one of the high-end kind of folders of Böker, this is definitely an interesting one actually, if you can find it. There is also the big turbine, which is a fantastically good looking folder. There is a Tirpitz, which you also have to buy already in end of stock promotion. And well, they will certainly make a few new ones. There is the very beautiful Titan series, a Titan Defender, also beautiful, but none of them have actually this lovely 3D CNC'd kind of handle, which make it look very, very nice. Yeah, I mentioned it's a it looks like titanium, but it's actually a hard-coated paint on an aluminium handle. Still, it won't never break, but eventually you will see scratches. So very smooth, very well made. I mean, when it comes, the quality of this Böker is absolutely beyond reproach. And so you could say, I call it the outsider. If everybody has already the military or a ZT, why not? Why not go for something quite exotic with this? You will have in essence the same performance as a ZT, and a lot of class actually. Very futuristic looking. Actually, I think that the design is something like 5-6 years old, but you would never notice while when seeing it. There's also the blade foam. So I mentioned from Dietmar Pohl that it looks a bit as his Pole Force blade foam. It looks even more as the blade of certain acorn knives, which Mr. Pohl has also designed. So I think he must be quite happy about the audience consumer reaction to these blades. Yeah, I think you've been able to watch it all quite well. Ah yes, you can put a you can maybe put a little cord around this last pin, because not here but here, because if you really think that it's not a lanyard holder, but you could knot something around it if you like, because here the blade is far enough. I would probably not do it. Ah, you see, by the way, it's a tip up carry, while the military is a tip down carry, and the ZT is also tip up carry. Yeah, indeed. Good. I hope you found this interesting. As usual, feel free to leave